Sound of Freedom. In Tegucigalpa, Honduras, Roberto, an unfortunate dad of two, is moved toward by a previous glamorous lady, Giselle. Giselle offers to sign his small kids, Miguel and Rocio, to kid displaying contracts. He acknowledges and takes them to the photo shoot. In any case, when he gets back to get his youngsters, they are no more. It is uncovered that the kids were offered to be utilized as sex slaves. In Calexico, California, Tim Ballard is a specialist for the Country Security Examinations, HSI, where he captures individuals who have and circulate kid porn. The excruciating work negatively affects his own life, and this is possibly deteriorated when another specialist, Chris, brings up that they have captured numerous kid hunters, however have neglected to save even a solitary youngster from being taken advantage of. Tim makes sense of that this is on the grounds that the majority of them are in different nations, however Chris' words stay with him. He addresses a hunter he captured, Ernst Oshinsky, and claims to be a pedophile himself. When he acquires Ohinsky's trust, he sets up a gathering with a Delt youngster, and can capture the one who bought the kid, Lord Buchanan. Tim salvages the kid, who says he is Miguel. Tim becomes friends with the youngster and asks him for data, expecting to track down different kids. Tim discovers that Miguel's sister is as yet absent, and the kid requests that he save her. Tim sets up for Roberto to get his child back, and Roberto separates since his little girl is as yet absent. Miguel and Roberto return home, however not before Miguel gives Tim his sister's holy person Timothy accessory. Tim begins searching for Rocio, and his inquiry drives him to Cartagena, Colombia. He meets with previous cartel bookkeeper, Vampiro, who currently attempts to save youngsters from sex dealing. Subsequent to finding out about a kid sex club in Thailand that was closed down, Tim concludes that this is the ideal main story to get countless Giselle's youngsters in a sting activity. Vampiro gets a Colombian cop, Jorge, and a rich resident named Paul to assist with Tim's main goal. Tim's HSI boss, ICE, can't give subsidizing to the activity, and requests that he return. Tim, reluctant to leave the quest for Rocio, leaves. Be that as it may, ICE is ultimately ready to persuade the Colombian U.S. consulate to help with Tim's salvage activity. Secret, they persuade Giselle to sell them 54 kids, effectively capture the schemers in general and free the youngsters. Nonetheless, Rocio isn't with them. Subsequent to grilling one of Giselle's partners, Jorge discovers that Rocio was sold as a captive to the progressive military of Colombia, dug in somewhere down in the Amazon regular district behind hostile area. Jorge illuminates Tim that it is basically impossible to recover the young lady, in light of the fact that the district is generally unmapped wilderness wild, and any revolutionary region is a restricted airspace for the Colombian government. In any case, Vampiro proposes that specialists can get into the area for clinical purposes, which gives Tim the plan to act like specialists. Jorge hesitantly consents to the dangerous activity. Tim and Vampiro endeavor to enter hostile area in mask, however the dissidents will not let the two of them enter, letting Tim to finish the mission. Tim effectively accesses the adversary camp where Rocio is being held. He discovers that she is being utilized as the individual sex slave for the agitator chief, El Alacran, the Scorpion, and is likewise being compelled to pound coca. Passes on to create cocaine to subsidize the revolutionary conflict against the Colombian government. Tim figures out how to save Rocio, yet is compelled to kill El Alacran all the while. Regardless of being taken shots at by the renegades, Tim barely figures out how to save Rocio and gives her the jewelry Miguel gave him before. Rocio is at long last restored her to her dad and sibling, and the family gets back to Honduras. An epilogue uncovers that Tim Ballard always avoided his vocation in government policing. He acknowledges his significant other for motivating him to make activity Underground Railroad, which keeps on saving kids from sexual bondage right up to the present day, and has persuaded the U.S. Congress to pass regulations that require the public authority to help out far-off nations on sex-dealing examinations. The epilogue likewise expresses that there are a larger number of individuals oppressed today than in some other time ever, including when subjection was lawful. A considerable lot of these slaves are youngsters, and the U.S. is one of the top purchasers of kid sex slaves.